Join Charlie Malouf as he explores the personal journeys of Broad River Retail's very own memory makers. Welcome to Stories from the River.
Okay, Tonia, welcome back.
Thanks, Charlie.
We had a lot of fun last week talking about the home delivery experience and your prior career and the results and success that we've had. Now I want to get to know a little bit more about you. We're going to get a little bit more personal. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Permission to proceed granted. So when you think about your legacy and how you want to be remembered, do you have like a guiding personal vision statement that helps you kind of dictate your behaviors and actions?
I do. And I'll actually give you a little bit of backstory about how that was created. So I spent a lot of my career with Raymour & Flanigan in the customer care space. And I was able to go to this leadership workshop where we were doing vision work. And I was really thinking about what was meaningful to me in that space, what fit all of the roles that I had as a human being a leader in the CX space, being a mother, being somebody who worked in my community. And so my personal vision statement is providing care that's beyond compare.
I love that. And it rhymes too.
It does. I use that to really make sure, I want to make sure that when I leave a situation, whether it be moving on to a different role or responsibility, that I leave behind this feeling that I cared more than any other for my team, for the people that surround me on a daily basis, obviously my family, my friends. I want them to all know that I care so deeply. So, I don't want them to be able to compare it to anything else.
That's a perfect guiding principle for any servant leader. And it's 5 simple words that are really, really impactful. Let's see if I can't get it correct. Providing care that's beyond compare.
Absolutely.
Love it. The Tonia Buskirk vision statement. So talking about workshops and summits, you recently joined a group of our leaders at the University of Notre Dame for the Purpose Summit 2022 back this past May. How was that experience?
That was a great experience. It was several days just filled with reinforcing some of the leadership stuff I had learned in the past, and kind of bringing it up again for me and making me relive it through stories of people who I really was able to connect with, and then also just the camaraderie of being with the group from Broad River. And if I didn't tell you about my memory, the other one that I was going to bring up was us on the bus. All singing along to country music songs.
That was fun.
That was a blast.
Shared experiences and coming back together, which we're missing during the pandemic, are so much fun. Well, what were some of the, I love being reminded, because we always need to be reminded of things. And sometimes that's so much more important than the new stuff we learn, is being reminded of the stuff we already learned, that we just got to tell ourselves this daily, weekly, monthly. What were some of the key learnings and takeaways that you had from the Purpose Summit?
Well, this was the first time I was ever introduced to the concept of purpose, right? I've been to a lot of leadership workshops throughout my career, but none of them were purpose-centered. And I'll tell you, on day one, and I'm sorry, but his name escapes me, that I believe it was the second speaker. He talked about his personal story and how he grew up, and then how what he experienced growing up and his family situation kind of dictated the way he went into work and how he went into his own family situation. And then realizing that he wasn't fulfilling. He still, despite earning as much as he was earning and having the American dream of a family, he still wasn't feeling fulfilled. And then really drilling home to his purpose and finding out what he feels he was truly meant to do and what he was put here on the earth for, and how that transformed how he looked at work after that and family life after that. And I really took that home with me and dwelled on that. And then I went back to my personal vision statement, and I was like, does this state my purpose? And it kind of reaffirmed for me that that's what makes me feel fulfilled. That's what I'm striving for every day. I would say I'm pretty much a humanitarian by nature. I just want to take care of everybody, sometimes to my own detriment. Mike would tell you, I interact with all manner of homeless people on corners and give them money because I want to make sure everybody's fed. And sometimes he tells me that's a bad idea, but I can't help myself.
I got it. I got you. You care about the human being in the person. I remember that we ought to put in the additional resources the link to the Purpose Summit, because I think there's a movie they created that people can view and watch that who missed it. What does it mean to be a purpose-driven or a purpose-led business?
I think, to me, you're doing this for more than just monetary gain, right? Everybody's kind of in business and we all work for our living. But when you're able to be connected to something that's greater than just you, you start seeing, the passion come out, and people give extra discretionary effort towards these things. And you can see our purpose in a lot of the things we do aside from just selling and delivering furniture, right? The amount of time we spend on community outreach, and as you mentioned earlier, like reaching out to our own memory makers and trying to help them thrive. Those are the things that are truly impactful to me as somebody who does have that humanitarian side. So that's one of the things that I love so much about being here and you can see it in everything we do.
Yeah, I think it's not in place of like being a profitable endeavor. It's an addition to, so it ups the ante of responsibility. Yeah. How do you infuse a sense of purpose in your team and those who you lead in terms of helping them find purpose and fulfillment in their roles?
It's really based on the individual, right? Because motivations are different for everybody. But when it comes to leadership, I strive to be a servant leader, and I strive to help everybody get to where you want to be, right? And if that's with Broad River, that's with Broad River. If it's outside of Broad River, what can we do while you're here with us that might help prepare you for the next stage of your life? And really helping them define, as far as the leaders that I have the pleasure of working with, helping them define their own personal leadership brand so that they can develop their own personal vision statement, and something to strive for every day. I think our vision statement gives us a compass for how we want to lead our lives and how we want to interact and engage with our people.
Nick Craig does a lot of work. I don't know if you did his breakout at the Purpose Summit, but and he's become a good friend, and he has a podcast too. But he does a lot of work on helping people and companies discover and unlock their personal purpose. We ought to look into a leadership workshop for us to work with him. He's actually from Greenville, South Carolina, so we have a little bit of a connection there. He's at Harvard and works with a lot of great companies on organizational purpose. One of those being Lego, where they create builders. Okay, switching gears from purpose to unsung heroes. I know that it always takes a village to achieve success. You talked about that earlier, or last week in our episode. Who are some of the unsung heroes of your world? And tell us what they do or have done that help you or that have helped you.
So there's a lot of them. First, I would say I had the pleasure of working with this leader, and Mariel Brinzer. She actually works for FDE currently, and I was recently able to reconnect with her. And, she was the one who truly pushed me out of my comfort zone, right? And helped me through some of probably the hardest feedback I have ever received in my career.
Which was?
That I wasn't personable.
Come on.
You wouldn't believe it now, Charlie, but I will tell you, as a young leader, you always hear that there's that line, right, between your business and personal, and you shouldn't cross that line. So I guess I took that a little too seriously, and I wasn't getting to know my people at a human level, and I wasn't letting them get to know me at a human level. And I'll tell you, I didn't have the greatest upbringing, so I had some trust issues initially, and I didn't want to be vulnerable with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Marielle pushed me and really helped me create that safe space where I could be vulnerable with other people. And I was able to grow so tremendously through those experiences of, really kind of putting my heart out there on my sleeve and asking people to kind of help me through some of the things that I was uncomfortable with. So after I got that feedback, I said, all right, guys, I hear you. And it's at the time, like I loved to get stuff done, right? And I know GSD is a Kim Harkness saying, but I would get stuff done at the expense of talking to my people, right? So I was like, guys, if I'm spending too much time in my office, somebody needs to come in here and pull me out.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot through that experience because not only was I able to kind of break down my own personal walls, but I really was vulnerable in even asking for their support. And what it taught me is that you don't have to go it alone. And by opening up and being genuine about it, I don't even know how many at the time, like 18 other people cheering me on.
That's awesome.
For my own personal growth, and that were willing to come out in my office and be like, come on, you got to go talk to people. And I did a lot of work over 6 years to get to where I wanted and felt I needed to be. And here I am today.
That's awesome.
And you wouldn't believe I wasn't a people person previously.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a great story tied to the unsung hero. That's awesome. Can we switch gears?
Sure.
To advice? What is the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I've ever received really comes in the form of a quote. So I had attended a leadership workshop earlier on in my career, and they had a coach there, Coach Paul Mensch. You can find him on LinkedIn. And he gave us a speech. And at one point he said, failure is an event, not a person. And I think we all have this habit of being our own worst critics. And we know when something's gone awry, right? When something didn't go the way we wanted it to go. And you have the opportunity to reflect on that situation, but you can reflect in a productive or an unproductive manner. I'm sure we've all been through trying to go to sleep at 10 p.m. and beating ourselves up and not being able to sleep over some mistake we made. And the mean things we say to ourselves in those moments. So when he said that, I started to kind of look at things a little bit differently. And when I wasn't successful in something I was striving for, really looking at why and how I could begin again more knowledgeably instead of giving up on what I was really passionate about. And not saying those really mean things to myself when failures occurred.
I'm going to add that I love reframing failure in a lot of different ways as a learning lesson or I learned an acronym yesterday, first attempt in learning, fail. So I love this one. I'm going to add this one. Failure is an event, not a person. All ways to reframe failure can be additive and something we can build upon. I love the one, don't pay tuition twice. I'll take the lesson the first time, but I'm not going to pay for it twice. Okay. And so what leadership message or advice do you regularly share with those who you lead?
Number one, be vulnerable. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. And really let down your guard with other people. They need to see you as human, right? And you need to see them as human.
Okay. And you think that's really important?
I think it's critical because truly leadership is the relationship between those who aspire to lead and those who choose to follow. And if you're putting barricades up to forming that relationship, then you're really not doing yourself or that other person any good. And I'll tell you another quick story, but in another leadership workshop I had there, we had to do an essay, and gosh, I hated essays, just so you know. But it was a good one. It made you really think, and it was the question posed was, of all the choices people have today, why would someone choose to follow you? And I'll tell you, I never looked at it as a choice before, because I don't ever remember a time when, my leader had moved on and they said, hey, Tonia, who do you want as your leader? Somebody was just always assigned, right? But through that, I was able to really dig and understand that I had chosen to follow people One of the reason I moved to Connecticut was for a leader. I had the ability to meet Ralph DeVito, and he was the deciding factor in me making the leap from Pennsylvania to Connecticut, because I met him and I was like, I want to work with that guy. And he never made you feel like you were working for him. You always felt like you were working right alongside of him. He was really great, great leader. I'll give you some other names if you want to try to steal some people.
No, listen, we want to keep friends. But I tell you what, I want to know all these leadership workshops you've gone to. I feel like we have a title for this episode potentially, Leadership Workshop with Tonia Buskirk. And I love this one. Why would someone choose to follow you? That's a great question to ask ourselves. And now I know to always ask you essay questions when I send you an email or something. Okay, we got to switch gears. Okay. We got to keep this train rolling downhill. So I know we're biased, but we believe that our culture at the River is unique and really special. I love the story you shared about Cherie last week that's additive to the culture and how we really look after each other. But what is your favorite thing about our culture here at the River? And in your opinion, what is it that makes our culture special?
So the one thing I would say is that in coming down here, it's such an inclusive and diverse group of people that all strive together towards the same purpose. And there's so much passion for what they do, both individually and collectively. Everybody, the one thing I think I've mentioned, I remember just feeling so welcomed. Mm-hmm. I still haven't met a mean person.
Well, that's good. That's good. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Because one bad apple can spoil the bunch.
But there's a lot of love for people, and for community. And, when we do community outreach, it's not for personal gain. It's always to give. Yeah. Some companies only have these outreach events so they can draw people into their stores. We're going out like offloading furniture with beds for kids, and giving of our time, not just, trying to drive business to our locations. And the fact that that's encouraged, so much so that the company gives PTO time for donating your time. Just incredible. And that's what makes this culture so special to me, because it fills my heart. It fills my cup when we're able to do those things together.
You've talked a lot about the self-reflection you've done. As a company, when you survive a near-death experience, you get a chance to kind of do some self-reflection of why did we survive and what are we going to do with the second chance, and how can we make sure that it's not wasted and it's put to good. And we love this, born out of the roots of conscious capitalism and what you heard at the Purpose Summit, this mantra, business as a force for good. These are all inspiring reflections we've had along our path to say we have the privilege and opportunity, and we need to do something more than just dollars and cents with this thing. And because maybe that's why we did survive, is to kind of have that good wake up call. So I'll move on from that, but thank you for those comments. Those are very heartwarming comments. And I love to hear that about our people. And that's what we aspire to be like. So we got recognized recently as one of the top 10 best places to work in America by Furniture Today in the furniture industry, where they survey a lot of our people and a lot of companies. And this was our second year in a row to win it. How do you think that, what does that mean to us? What does that mean to our culture? How proud of you are that designation?
I'm incredibly proud. And you can see it everywhere you go with every leader that you interact with. I would say that our culture is just very, very prevalent in everything that everybody does, and how they rally towards our goals. And, everybody, there's just such compassion across the board. Some of the things that we do for our memory makers, like the Operation School Bus.
Magic School Bus.
And
Tis the Season.
And
Founder Scholarship Fund and Memory Maker Assistance Fund, et cetera. Yeah.
Right. And, there's just so much, and it just shows that we really truly care about our people. And, that's what's what differentiates us as a business versus other businesses. There's nobody here that's a number. They are all individual people. They're valued for their very unique contributions, and they're truly cared for. And that's really what makes us a great place to work. We should be insanely proud of that.
Not only is there no memory maker here that's just a number, there's no store or distribution center that's just a number. Everyone's got a unique identity and name, which makes it special. Okay. So you talked about community outreach. How important is community outreach to our culture?
I think it's one of those critical factors to our culture. I think, you can see how much our memory makers get engaged in it. They want to be out there helping with Feds for Kids and Project Green Chair. And I mean, I don't know how frequently it happens, but I'm constantly seeing them make sandwiches.
Operation Sandwich. That's another project.
So you can see how much joy they derive from participating in those outreach programs. And, it's one of those things that, again, contributes to making this such a great place to work. I think that, it's so amazing to be able to get to be a part of that.
You talked about helping homeless people, and we have to help our neighbors in our community and it's the triple bottom line. It's the stakeholders, it's our people, the families of our memory makers, our guests who get the privilege to serve, our vendors, our partners, and then our neighbors and our community and our planet. All those things matter. It's the responsibility of being an awake business, if you will, or a conscious business, purposeful business. Okay, I'm going to shift gears again. We love a good word of the year. This year, our company's word of the year is thrive in 2022. What does it mean to you to thrive?
Well, Charlie, I think I mentioned to you previously that I love music. But I also love the outdoors, and then I love what I do. So if I can get all of those things every day, then that's what it means to me.
Music, outdoors, and fulfilling work.
And fulfilling work.
Love it.
Love it.
Okay, the trifecta. What advice would you offer up to a fellow memory maker to help him or her thrive?
Be yourself and make sure that you make time for what you're passionate about. Have you ever seen the thing about the big rocks and is this jar full? And make time for your big rocks.
Love it. Have you and your team, and let me just say, that's like designing an intentional life, which I think is really important. And I think they talk about the great resignation and quiet quitting, but maybe it's the great reassessment to make sure that we design an intentional life. Work can be part of that. Purposeful work can be part of that, but it doesn't have to be 100% of it. So have you and your team attended have you attended our Thrive and Purpose sessions, either virtual or in person, like the one we recently had with Johann Kornhoff? And if so, how have those been received and what sort of impact have they had?
Yeah, so I've been a part of several of the virtual. I know the virtual are a little bit more challenging for some of our ops folks to get to. So hopefully they're watching the recordings. We have gotten some great feedback. They were all able to attend the live Thrive and Purpose event with Johann, which was incredibly impactful. I actually just had a discussion with my leadership team about Johann's message and what it meant and how it correlates to leadership and the part about the relationship context and not looking at things as right and wrong, but as are they good or bad for the relationship. So we were able to talk through that and really make it connect to the things that we do every single day with our team members. And, I can tell you the team had some light bulb moments. It was really, really great to be in that room and to be inspired by him and his story, and also the opportunity to ask him some questions after the session. Just amazing all the way around.
So we should do more of that in 23?
Yes.
And more in person?
More in person.
With where the ops can attend in person. Love it. You talked about goals earlier. So we've got some big threat. We did a twist on Jim Collins' BHAG, and we called it a BTAG, big, thriving, audacious goal to align with our word of the year, thrive this year. How motivating has it been? Well, let me take a step back. I mean, our home delivery operations teams have been setting some massive records. We grew in 21 over 20 by 33% and had massive growth. And in 22 over 21, we're growing by another 20 plus percent. We're setting some major records. We're going to have the biggest year we've ever had as a company. And I got to imagine that pursuit of these big, thriving, audacious goals and the jackpot bonuses that come along with them for all of our memory makers has had some sort of effect. Has it? How motivating has it been?
Absolutely motivating. You can see it on our town hall calls and every leadership meeting, like they're talking about it, but more so than that, our memory makers are talking about it. Mm-hmm. I have some memory makers come up to me and they're like, where are we at? Where are we at? So every week we're giving them updates on where we've fallen, and they saw us slip a little bit and they know we're not going to hit the 300 million. So that was, they were like, man, like, what can we do?
The 300 million was the level 4, but we're going to hit a level 2 or 3. We're adding some delivery days in December to deliver all of this Black Friday furniture. So we are doing some 6-day delivery days, and thank you guys for that. And thanks to our ops team. Let's go get these big, thriving, audacious goals. Tonia, what do you think are or have been the secrets to your success?
Charlie, persistence.
That's a good one.
Yeah, persistence.
Yeah, that's a great one. Water dripping on a stone eventually leaves its mark.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I think I mentioned I didn't grow up in the greatest of environments, and I ended up at Raymore and Flanagan, and thankful that they saw something in me, and but I don't have a college education, so I've had to. Grind it out every step of the way.
Persistence and perseverance.
Yeah.
A great movie about that is The Founder. Have you ever seen that?
No, I have not.
About the founding of McDonald's and Ray Kroc. Add that to your list. I think you'll really enjoy it. Okay. If you like movies, you maybe you might like movies. I'm not sure. It's a great story. What are your best daily habits that have served you well?
Honestly, waking up and doing something you want to do or that you enjoy. Okay. For me, I'm a morning person. I like to get up, I get dressed, I get my coffee, and if I'm leaving for work, I hit the door and then I jam out in my car and I get myself hyped up for the day. If I'm staying home, throw on some tunes and start.
What kind of music are you listening to, Tom?
I have a very, very diverse.
Give a couple in your iPod or your Alexa player, what have you.
So I tend to go on rotation, right? So right now, City and Color. Don't know if you've ever heard of them.
City and Color? I think I have heard of them, yeah.
But my mother's a lover of music, so was my father, so I have a very diverse profile. And still to this day, one of my go-tos is putting on Fleetwood Mac. Love Fleetwood Mac.
Okay, love it. I would love to see your playlist. Maybe we can share that. Mentorship is so important. Where or from whom do you get your mentorship?
So I had mentioned the leader that I chose to follow, Ralph DeVito. I still keep in contact with him. He's a person I call when I'm facing some career challenges, or if I'm just not sure which way to go. He's my go-to guy.
Okay. And what about your inspiration and motivation other than music?
Like I said, I love the outdoors. So I love being able to connect with nature. I used to spend a great deal of time hiking, and once I'm done remodeling this house, hopefully I can get back to some of that. We've recently played golf on Crowder's Mountain. That was beautiful scenery. And that's one of my inspirations, just the world as a whole. But honestly, one of my motivations rather, is to see people smile.
That's awesome. What is something about you that would surprise your fellow memory makers?
That I love to sing karaoke.
Oh, we got to go to some karaoke bars. I want to be there. I want to see that. You have a favorite karaoke song?
There are too many of them. But honestly, Sitting by the Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding. Love that song.
Maybe we can exit this show with you singing.
No. Okay. Not ready.
If you could change one thing about the company today with the wave of a magic wand, what would it be?
I would put a DC at the beach so that I could run the DC for you and live at the beach. That's what I would do.
I've not heard that one. That's very creative. I love it. Okay, let's shift gears to personal growth, development, and learning. Do you feel that working at the river has positively impacted your desire for personal growth and development? And if so, how so?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I believe in taking the leap, right? Taking risks. And when I came here, knowing that I was going to have to, kind of build up the home delivery department from the ground up. And also, while I've had experience with home delivery and also with some contract carriers, having it be all contract carriers is very different from the environment I came from. So I knew I was in for some challenges, and I was really excited to take them on. And the deeper I get and the more I see, the more passionate I become about making things happen here. And it's really also about the people I get to do it with, right?
Yeah.
So they inspire me every day.
You know what they say about challenges? If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you.
Yeah.
So how do you sharpen your saw? What do you do to improve your skill set and to invest in your own personal growth and development?
I try to do all the things that make me uncomfortable. They say do one thing that scares you every day. So I try to make sure that I do those things.
Is this one of them?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
yes, it is.
Well, we knocked that out early. What book are you currently reading?
I'm not reading any book currently, but I did read the Coffee Bean book.
Yeah, okay, that's a great book. Maybe if you haven't read it, we highly recommend the Coffee Bean book. When you stop working for the day and you have some time for yourself or your family, what do you like to do for fun or to relax? I know you mentioned hiking Crowder's Mountain and playing golf out there, and I get the sense that you've acclimated to the warmer climate and weather than you have in the Northeast. Maybe it's like you said, spend time outdoors. What else do you like to do for fun?
So I have 2 dogs, and I just love spending time.
What type of dogs?
I have a French Mastiff. Her name is Bean. And then we have a German Shepherd Lab mix, I think. Okay. We're not really sure about him. He's a little lanky and awkward, but he's still a puppy. And his name is technically Harper. For Bryce Harper. Okay. But we call him Tank because that's what he answers to. So.
That's awesome, Tank. Okay, final advice. To someone who is not a memory maker and is thinking of coming to the river, what advice would you offer to that person?
Take the leap. You're going to love it.
Take the leap. You're going to love it. Anything else that you haven't said that you'd want to share right now, Tonia?
No, I think we've
covered the ground. We've run the gamut. Before I let you off the hot seat,
okay.
I did ask some of your fellow memory makers about you. May I read some of their comments that they shared? You talked about James Willett. He had a lot to say. James said, Tonia is a very thoughtful and caring person. She takes her role as a leader seriously and cares about her team with sincerity. She's never short on opinions, however, is also a great listener. And when you combine the two, the power to unite takes form. He's a great writer.
He is.
She has a great sense of humor and is simply a fun person to be around. I've enjoyed many one-on-one chats about work, life, and anything else under the sun. I also enjoy our time together. Tonia arrived at Broad River, and I was very glad to have her on board. John Connolly had said such great things about her, and I had a great conversation with her during the interview. I knew it would be a fit. She didn't disappoint. Tonia hit the ground running and united a strained Broad River 3PL Riverstone relationship while taking the notion of customer service to a new level. It was a game changer. Working with Tonia to create tools and navigation maps for this goal was challenging but fun. We found ways around data roadblocks with our home delivery tracker and improved our delivery report to reach across the aisle and provide feedback for Riverstone, not just a list of items that went wrong, a true partnership. The result has been an improvement of our customer success, an improved relationship with Riverstone. She is a fantastic leader, and the proof is in the results. I hope you enjoy your talk with her. She's an amazing person, and we are lucky to have her in the family. He's great. Sarah Sanchez. Tonia is amazing, all caps, and is someone I truly admire. She exudes do no harm, but take no crap. I love that at her core, her priority is always keeping our memory makers safe and benefiting our guests. Her hard work and focus have truly transformed the relationship we have with our 3PL partner. There is undeniable improvement in our deliveries because of her. She is a force to be reckoned with, a breath of fresh air, and we are so lucky to have her. From Coach McCormick, Coach Stacy, what an amazing addition to the Broad River retail team. Largely because of Tonia's leadership, we have seen a transformational improvement in our customer success rates with deliveries. Her ability to partner with our third-party delivery service and internal partners to improve trust, collaboration, and culture has been impressive. She is relentless in her efforts to provide our guests with an amazing final mile delivery experience. I am so thankful for her impact, and I can't wait to see the future impact she will have at the river. From Dwayne Rick. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to brag about Tonia. Having the opportunity to work with Tonia has made such an impact. She has the drive and dedication to be great at what she does. That is contagious as it trickles downstream to those who work with her. Since Tonia has come on board, I have a renewed sense of purpose. I now know that the job I do is important and the results do not go unnoticed. And I think he called you TB. I just wrote it out as Tonia. TB is not afraid of tough conversations. She is, all caps again, very straightforward. This provides confidence in others doing their job, as you know what the precise goal should be. TB has created new tools and resources for us as a company to grow and thrive. Tim Klaus. Tonia brings so many positive attributes to our dynamic team. Tonia has been laser focused on our premier home delivery experience, which has improved year over year, leading to life's best memories for many more of our customers. Recently, Tonia has brought her skills to our Fort Mill location, leading from the front, driving efficiencies while producing a better customer experience. Tonia has been an instrumental member of our EPIC team. I thank her for sharing, challenging, and ensuring we find the best solutions. Don't forget, I want that invite. Looking forward to bringing in 2023 with her and the spectacular teams she has built. And finally, from Manny. Tonia is a pro in the home delivery space. She is relentless in her pursuit of excellence in this space, and this commitment has impacted our year-over-year results. Project PDX Phase 1 has been one of the company's top initiatives. With Tonia's leadership, we have established and developed a robust reporting cadence that is helping us provide feedback on the last mile experience. She is a kind, engaged, and talented leader, and I am confident that we will continue to be positioned well for success with her leadership. So that's what your colleagues and coworkers and fellow memory makers had to say about you. Tonia, thank you so much for being with us at the river. Thanks for doing a two-parter here with me. Hey guys, that's Tonia Buskirk, our leadership workshop with Tonia. Thank you for joining us for part 2 here, and listen on your favorite podcast player, whether that is Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon. Do us a favor, subscribe or mash that like button. That helps us grow the podcast. We bring you fresh new content from the river every Wednesday morning. And you can also, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe so you never miss an episode and watch it. And Tonia, thank you so much.
Thank you, Charlie.
We'll see you next week.